Okay, good evening. My name is Bob Connors. It's 6:01 p.m. and I'd like to call the December 3rd meeting of the Newbury Conservation Commission to order. Mason, can you read the remote open meeting law preamble and take a roll call of the members present?
As a preliminary matter, this is Mason Ferret, Conservation Agent of the Newbury Conservation Commission. I call the December 3rd meeting to order and permit me to confirm that all members are present and can hear me. Members, when I call your name, please respond in the affirmative. Mary Rimmer,
Yes.
TJ Conti,
Yes.
Mick Brown, Diane O'Brien,
Yes.
Woody Knight,
Yes.
Bob Connors,
Yes.
and Frank Wettenkamp. Good evening, everyone. This open meeting of the Newbury Conservation Commission is being conducted remotely, consistent with Governor Baker's executive order of March 12th, 2020, due to the current state of emergency in the Commonwealth due to the outbreak of the COVID-19 virus. In order to mitigate the transmission of the COVID-19 virus, we have been advised and directed by the Commonwealth to suspend public gatherings, and as such, the governor's order suspends the requirement of open meeting law to have all meetings in a publicly accessible physical location. Further, all members of public bodies are allowed and encouraged to participate remotely. For this meeting, the Newbury Conservation Commission is convening by Zoom, as posted on the agenda of the Conservation Commission section of the town's website, identifying how the public may join. Please note that this meeting is being recorded and that attendees are participating by video conference. Applicants or their representatives may be called upon to speak and/or share information to the screen if able on the fly. We're now turning to the first item on the agenda. Before we do so, permit me to cover some ground rules for effective and clear conduct for our business and to ensure accurate meeting minutes. The chair will introduce each speaker on the agenda. After they conclude their remarks, the chair will go down the line of members, inviting each by name to provide any comment, questions, or motions. For any responses, please wait until the chair yields the floor to you and state your name before speaking. Board and committee members should be called upon in a first name alphabetical order to ease the process. If board and committee members wish to engage with other members, please do so through the chair, taking care to identify yourself. After the board and committee members have spoken, the chair will afford public comment as follows. The chair will seek first questions through the chat function, and the chair will seek questions from the public who wish to speak. They'll be asked to identify their names, address, and question. Once the chair has a list of all public commentators, they will call on each by name and afford 3 minutes for any comments. Finally, each vote taken in this meeting will be conducted by roll call vote.
Okay, thank you, Mason. Hey, good evening, Mick. Good evening, Frank. We just got going, and obviously you missed the exciting preamble and all that good stuff. Okay, upcoming meeting dates. December 17th is our next meeting. Meeting minute review, October 15th, 2024. If you remember, team, we had some, I think we had some spelling errors to correct. And both Mason and I ran it through spell check, so right now it's going to be up to Microsoft Outlook and Word to if we missed anything. So why don't we take a minute and review those, see if we have any questions, corrections, or concerns. Okay, hearing none, I will entertain a motion to approve the meeting minutes for October 15th. Okay, so TJ and who was the other one?
I'm not sure
Diane.
if I was
Woody.
at this one. That's why I'm trying to remember if I was at this one or not.
You know what? Were you in Florida with your mother? Or was
No,
that
it was either this one or the one before that. That's why I'm not sure.
I think October 5th you weren't at.
Okay, so then I
But
second.
okay.
You were not
Okay.
at that meeting. You were not at the 10:15. At least you're not listed in the minutes.
Is that the one I was trying to, that's what I
Yep.
was trying
Yep.
to figure
So
out.
I'd be happy to second or whatever.
Okay, yeah, I got TJ motion and Woody's second.
Okay, good.
Okay. Kate, roll call, all in favor. Mary,
Yes.
TJ,
Aye.
Woody,
Yes.
Mick,
Aye.
Frank,
Yes.
and Bob Connors votes yes. Okay. Next order is a meeting minutes review for November 15th, 2024. Why don't we take a minute, look at those? And see what Word and Microsoft, whatever, missed on spell correct. You know, with AI and ChatGPT, we're all gonna become, illiterate when we're doing this stuff because no one has to really pay attention to spelling anymore. It either auto corrects or you have a format that cleans it all up at the end. That's my excuse when I do this on my phone, because my fingers are just a little too big for the keys. It's not my ninth grade English that's shining through. Okay, hearing no questions or corrections, I will entertain a motion to approve the meeting minutes from November 19th.
So moved.
All right, Diane, in a second.
Second.
Okay, Mary. Okay, roll call vote. All in favor. Mary,
Yes,
TJ.
I was not here at that meeting.
Okay, Woody,
Yes.
Mick,
Aye.
Diane,
Yes.
Frank,
I don't think I was at that meeting, but,
November 15th.
yeah, I
Hey,
was in Colorado.
Okay, I think you called in though, Frank, didn't you?
Mm,
Oh, no, you didn't. That's right.
no.
We put a letter in your file on that, by the way.
well, he's listed.
He's
in the
on
me-
there, yeah.
He's listed on the meeting minutes. Oops, that's the 10:15. Let me just double check.
Okay, all right,
He's listed on the 11/19 one as well.
Okay,
okay,
then
well,
I, yes.
okay. All right, next order of business. Request for determination of applicability. 14 Pine Island Road, the applicant wants to construct and add a mudroom and a two-car garage to existing dwelling property. We haven't heard from the applicant. I think he's pretty clear that he really needs to come back with an NOI. So Mason, I think what we'll do is we'll just drop this from the agenda as an RDA at this point, for an
But the
activity.
minutes said that he's coming in December.
I think it said today.
Yeah, continued at the applicant's request to 11/19 meeting.
Oh, this was this meeting. Okay.
Yeah. We can leave it on there as well. I mean, this doesn't require no action as,
Okay.
I can reach out to him to try and get a
Okay.
game plan to see if he's coming.
oh, well, you know what, why don't we do this? Why don't we move to continue this to the 12, 12/17?
Yeah.
12/17, okay, it doesn't require a vote because it's not a public hearing. Okay, enforcement orders, 108 Main Street, 30 Riverview Drive. Just gonna read these because they require no action. 62 Middle Road. None of these require action. We have a plan for each one of them. So doesn't require any action by the board tonight. Extension request, we have none. Certificates of compliance, we have no request for certificates of compliance. Okay, public hearing. DEP file number 05014403 37th Street. Applicant is submitting a notice of intent to renovate their existing home, including additions, decks. Plans include a mitigation planting plan, project narrative, and site plans. Mason, give us an overview on this. There was, Mason had informed me that there was a butter question on the notice that it did not have the correct time, didn't have the Zoom link, and it was showing it was being held in person at 25 High Road. So Tom Hughes was notified that we would only continue this meeting tonight. Am I correct on that, Mason? Is that?
Yep,
your
correct.
recollection?
And he said he'd like to request a site walk too. So I don't know if we'd like to try and figure out maybe a couple dates that work for everyone, and then we can reach out to Tom with those dates.
I mean, I think we need the presentation before we can schedule a site walk, so.
Okay.
Not sure a site walk is needed for this one. I drove in the driveway tonight just
Yeah.
to take a look at it, and it's pretty
Pretty cut and dry.
self-explanatory. Yeah.
Yeah. Okay, all right, I will entertain a motion to continue the public hearing at the applicant's request to the 12/17/24 meeting.
So moved.
Second.
Okay, motion, so TJ and Diane. Okay, roll call vote, all in favor, Mary,
Yes.
TJ,
Aye.
Woody,
Yes.
Mick,
Aye.
Diane,
Yes.
Frank,
Yes.
and Bob Connors votes yes. Okay, continue public hearing, DEP file number 0501436, 286 High Road, to construct an addition to an existing single-family dwelling with associated utilities and expanded driveway within a 100-foot buffer to the salt marsh area. Mason, can you give us an overview on this? And as I recall, you mentioned this was also going to be a request to continue.
Yeah, Bill had reached out earlier this week requesting to continue to the first meeting in January.
Okay, what's the date on that? Is that,
I believe it's the 7th.
let's just see
That's the
here.
first Tuesday in January.
Okay, January 50, okay, so. Okay, the applicant has requested we continue this public hearing to January 7th. I'll entertain a motion to continue this to at the applicant's request to January 7th, 2025.
So moved.
Second?
Okay. There's a second, TJ. Okay, roll call, all in favor, Mary,
Yes.
TJ,
Aye.
Woody,
Yes.
Mick,
What?
Diane,
Yes.
Frank,
Yes.
and Bob Connors votes yes. Okay, we have a continued public hearing, DEP file number 0501439, 268 Middle Road, Governor's Academy. Applicant is submitting a notice of intent for an ecological restoration project. The applicant proposes to remove a damaged and non-functioning culvert on a stream that is on the campus property. Outside and student research has been done to measure the pre-existing impacts of the damaged culvert. They propose to remove the damaged culvert, repair the surrounding marsh, and install a wooden footbridge across the stream to access the island and other parts of the marsh. Mason, can you give us an update on this? And I see Wendy is on the call.
Yeah, so I uploaded to the Dropbox some of the conversation that Wendy had with Alicia at DEP, sorting out or ironing out some issues there. And besides that, I think Wendy wanted to schedule a site visit with everyone. So I'll
Okay.
kind of let Wendy take over with any updates that she has.
Yeah, so Wendy, I was reading the communication that you had sent off to Alicia at DEP. And you're submitting a Form 3A on this project. So why don't you take it from there and give us the update, because it also looks like that we're going to have to do something. What was the form? That our order of conditions is going to be a Form 5A, but when we get to that point.
Yeah, so at the last meeting, there were some questions about whether it was a limited project or not, and it was listed as such on the DEP portal, which was a mistake. And the emails that I provided to Mason show that. And then also the question of the fee, I really don't know what to do about that. The check was cashed on November 10th, and they can't seem to find it. The person that's in charge of the website, I can't get to reply to my emails. So I'll keep working on it, but at least there's a DEP number. So I'm hopeful we could move ahead
Yeah.
and schedule a site walk and, start the technical conversation about the project.
The DEP number means they got the check.
Yeah.
It
Yeah.
means,
But
so then they were able to release the number because they have the check. They just haven't issued any comments yet.
it still
They
says
didn't-
waiting for a fee though on the,
But they issued the file number, so that made
Yeah.
the correction, and they didn't, until they issue technical comments, they'll take, which they may or may not do, that will
Yeah.
stay.
okay.
So as long as
All right.
it's been paid, you wouldn't have gotten a file number if they didn't get the fee, so.
Okay.
Okay. Very good.
So order of conditions, okay. So the Form 5A will be our order of condition format based on your current filing when we get to that point.
Yeah,
Okay,
the way I understand it, I mean, I attended a webinar that the DEP put on ecological restoration projects, and the 3A is a full ecological restoration. It's comparable to a general permit, in the NIPD's world,
right,
where there's just set conditions, and they felt like that was an appropriate form of permitting for this project, rather than a limited project, which would have more restrictions and things to follow through on. So I was proceeding based on their recommendation on that.
Okay.
Yeah.
When I hold you there and see if there's any questions, and then we can talk about scheduling a site visit. Mary,
Okay.
any questions to Wendy? at
Has
this
there been
point?
any new
Wendy?
information submitted since the last meeting?
Right before the last meeting, I received the reply from DMF, and I had forwarded it to Mason, but I don't know that it was put up in the Dropbox in time for the last meeting, so that they just confirmed the no time of year restrictions and no diadromous fish run requirements.
Okay, and remind me, are you in priority habitat?
No,
Okay.
no, I included a map in the application that shows that we're not.
I just, yeah, I'm trying to refresh my memory. And how
Yeah.
about ACEC? Does that, are you?
We are in the Great Marsh ACEC. Yep.
Okay.
It's also an outstanding resource water, but because there's less than 100 yards dredging, we don't need the 401 certification.
Okay,
Yeah,
any-
I'm getting mixed messages about that 401 certification because now they're saying any amount of dredge in ACEC triggers it. So, but
But I guess
You-
really, we're not even dredging. That's not,
you're just taking out the culvert, just picking it up.
yeah.
Like,
Yeah.
And is there any stream restoration in once you take out the old culvert? You're just gonna
Well-
let the stream redefine itself in its channel.
There's been some conversation with the mosquito abatement folks that are going to do the work that I wouldn't call it stream restoration, but if there's any native material removed with the culvert, they want to just push it back on the bank where it's all scoured out.
Okay.
But that's something I think I would hope that Mason would be able to be on site when the work's being done and provide, agreement or guidance on that.
And then what time of year are you anticipating now that you don't have a time of year restriction?
We're shooting for January, just because the
Oh.
ground will be frozen, there'll be less impact, yeah.
Okay.
But that's dependent on getting this completed.
And you need to get, do you need to bring equipment out onto the marsh to do this?
It's just to the very edge of the marsh. It'll go over the playing fields for the most of the trip, and then there's just a short distance in the kind of the border of the marsh that the
Yeah.
equipment will have to run up to.
Are you planning on using timber mats or anything on that, or
No, because
Sloping.
it's pretty solid.
okay,
Yeah.
so as long as it's low ground pressure equipment and you're
Mhm.
hopefully frozen conditions, but the marsh isn't really freezing much these days, so.
Right.
There's kind of an established cart path there, isn't there?
Yes, there is. Yeah.
Okay.
Great.
And what kind of equipment are you bringing out? Just rubber tired equipment or?
Yeah, he said that he was planning on just a backhoe, the equipment they use to do most of their work. So, yeah, I did speak with him and he would like to attend the site visit, so I have some dates when he's not available. Hopefully we can work around that, because I think his input would be helpful to the commission.
Right. Okay, thank you.
Mary, anything else?
No, that's all good news.
Okay, TJ, any questions for Wendy?
Well, all set there.
Okay, Woody,
There you
any
go.
questions?
No, I'm good with questions now. Thank you, Bob.
Okay, Mick, any follow-up questions?
No follow-up. Thanks, Bob. Thanks, Wendy.
Okay, Diane, any questions on this matter?
Did our last meeting scare the students away?
No, no.
You're
They
not
did
here
it.
They
they're
were
not
great.
here
They did a
today.
great job.
They did a great job last week.
Yeah,
It's just a
That was
great
really,
success.
I really appreciate you, allowing them to do that. It made a big impact on them.
Good.
So,
Well.
yeah.
The experience they get making presentations like that, the better. So,
Oh, yeah, for sure.
yeah.
Are we still talking about a board, I'm sorry to interrupt, a
Mhm.
boardwalk over this crossing, or is that not part of the plan now?
That's what we're proposing.
Okay,
I understand that that technically that's not a restoration, but it allows us to not reinstall a culvert. I mean, that's a historical
Right.
access to that area of the marsh.
and DEP is aware of that and they're,
Yep.
okay.
Yeah.
And there's a plan, I'm sure, that you have
Mhm.
for that.
Wendy, you're familiar with the aluminum ramps with the side rails, very easy, cheap.
Well,
Yeah.
22,000 is,
For an aluminum
Yeah.
ramp?
yeah, for an aluminum bridge, yeah, because it would have to have the railings on the side. I mean, I did look at that. That's one option. If
Okay, yeah.
we have applied for a grant, if we receive the grant, perhaps we would, propose that instead, but.
Yeah, I'd shop that around a little better.
Yeah.
That seems pretty pricey.
Mhm.
There's a place in Gloucester that does a lot of these
Yeah.
lamps.
Yeah, Wilson Welding right up in Salisbury has.
Oh, yeah,
done
we've
it
used
well.
them.
Yeah.
Yeah. So do you think that would have less impact than a 4x4 post?
It would be considered temporary, wouldn't it? I mean, it would just be resting on the grade. It
I think
wouldn't-
they're gonna wanna have it elevated somehow with helical
Okay.
or something anchored to the
Yeah.
marshal. Would it be removed seasonally? So you don't wanna have something that, I don't think it's removed seasonally, right? That's not the intention.
That wasn't the plan.
It's gotta
no.
be something that's not gonna be
Yeah.
popped out with ice and stuff, so.
Mhm.
Well, you'll figure it out.
Yep.
Okay, Frank, any questions on this one?
No, not at this time.
Okay, and Wendy, the only question I have is a follow-up to Mick on the, are they visualizing a mini excavator on tracks that would be low pressure for actually equipment on site? And
I'm not sure exactly. I think probably it would be best to ask Stephen of,
okay, and he'll be at the site, he'll be at the
Yes.
site walk?
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, I mean, because typically what we're looking for is, what you're gonna use for a mobilization area?
mhm.
What are you gonna use to store materials? And if they're removing any materials from the site or whatever, it's just having that kind of predetermined, and we can
Yeah.
incorporate it into the order.
So the plan is any materials they move will just go into a dump truck and be brought up to our facilities area, where
Okay.
we store materials. So there won't be
Okay.
anything going off site
So
other than,
you'll be live loading then
Yes.
into a truck, okay.
Yeah.
Okay, any other questions for Wendy at this time? Okay, are there any raised hands from the public at this time? Okay, seeing none. All right, why don't you tell us what days are we looking at for a potential site inspection that will work for everybody?
you're asking me?
Yeah, you said there was
Okay.
a couple of days that, what was the gentleman's name that was,
Stephen, I can't pronounce the last name.
so Steve from Mosquito Control, how about that?
Yes, yeah. So apparently they're going to a conference next week, Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday. They don't work Fridays. This week, the 6th is a possibility. That would be Thursday.
Friday.
Yeah, they don't work on Fridays, so just the 6th this week, next week, the 12th. And
The
then,
5th this week.
This week is the Thursday is the 5th.
correct. Sorry about that. Yeah, I don't know if that's too soon for the commission to, your
Okay.
next meeting is December
17.
17th, so
Yep.
yeah,
Well, if you want to get a January start date, then we have to kind of get this rolling for you.
right.
How does December 5th work for members that want to go to the site inspection, which is this Thursday?
Good for me.
Ideally, I think, would the tide make a difference here? And would it be best to see it at low tide so you can see the channel, or does it make a difference here?
Well, the culvert's still in place, so we can probably cross over it, but it's a
Yeah,
good point.
I think the photos that I submitted with the application are at dead low tide. I don't know what the tide looks like this week, but the tide doesn't overtop the culvert or the banks, so you'll still be able to get a pretty
Like a
good
7
idea.
a.m. or 8 a.m. low tide
Okay,
on Thursday.
So 8 o'clock is typically when we do it. That would probably work then, Mary, if low tide was at 7 a.m.
mhm.
All right, so how does Thursday, December 5th at 8 o'clock work for the commission? Diane, does that work for you?
I can't do it, but I mean, I'll defer to you guys.
Okay, TJ, how does that work for you?
That's good for me.
Okay,
Only-
what do you have?
Sorry.
I'm sorry, I'm just going by my screen here. You're down in the lower left-hand corner, Mary, and it's no disrespect from your rank on this commission.
Keep jumping in. I'm just wanted to point out that I'm looking at the weather and there's 95% chance of rain. on
Yeah,
Thursday.
yeah, Thursday morning's gonna be nasty.
I was just
Snow
gonna say
inland
that.
and
Okay, well,
rain.
So I think both Mick and Mary have convinced us that we're gonna move to the following week.
Hey.
And, well, you know what, we're gonna be trudging out there, so.
I got wet gear. I can do anything, Bob.
Okay,
If
well,
Thursday works, Thursday works. I can be there.
we're all volunteers and dry cleaning is expensive. So how about the following Thursday, the 12th? Are they back that day?
Yes,
Okay.
That's
Okay,
fine.
all right, so December 12th, Mary, can you check the tide on that? And I don't know if you could do that and see if it,
Yeah, it's
Well-
gonna be low
well,
tide.
it's,
Yeah, that'll be a high tide, but
That'll be good.
that should be. I don't think that should make a huge difference.
okay.
If somebody wants to go back and look at it at low tide, we can do that too.
Yeah, that's why we have a conservation agent. He can check the low water issues on this. Okay, so why don't we schedule a site inspection for December 12th, 2024 at 8 AM? What would be a good meeting area, Wendy? Is there a particular address or a parking area that,
yeah, I think the lower parking lot next to the tennis courts would be the best. I can send a map to Mason with a X on it where I'm talking about, if that'd be helpful.
that'd be great.
Okay, and it's just a kind of short walk from there across the field out to the marsh.
Okay. Lower parking lot. All right, and so you're going to request a continuance to our December 17th meeting?
Yes, please.
Okay. I will entertain a motion to continue this public hearing at the applicant's request to the December 17th, 2024 meeting.
Moved.
All
Second,
right, so Diane, Woody, great, thank you, guys. Okay, roll call, all in favor? Mary,
Yes,
TJ,
Aye.
Woody,
yes,
Mick,
All right.
Diane,
Yes.
Frank,
Yes.
and Bob Connors votes yes. Thank you. Well, Wendy.
Yes, thank
Okay.
you.
All right, 6:28, I almost beat Mary's record for the shortest meeting, but
still on
it's not,
top.
not gonna happen.
You were cruising and then screeching halt.
Yeah,
Well, now
I
the
was
only,
trying to ask a lot of questions so I could keep
Yeah,
my.
she-
well, you know,
Nice
everybody,
move. Nice move.
king of the hill.
Sabotage.
Okay, general project discussion, 170 Orchard Street, intend to sell, chapter 61. The commission is to investigate, provide feedback to the select board on any potential development constraints relating to a WPA and site ecological significance to determine would be suitable for acquisition as open space or recreation. So team, as a refresher, DEP file number 05/01403. We issued an order of conditions on May 4th, 2023. And as I recall, there was a site inspection done at that time. Diane, I think Diane and Mary, I think you both attended that.
Yep, now I'm remembering, yep.
And the address kind of threw me off at first.
Mhm.
So the statement of the proposed use of land, a portion of land is proposed to be used for 4 single-family houses. The balance of the land is to be proposed. The balance of the land is proposed to be conveyed to the Essex County Greenbelt. There was an attached subdivision plan. The location and acreage of the land consists of 20.57 acres located 170 Orchard Street, Newbury, Mass. And again, the map was enclosed. Mason had a discussion with Tracy Blaze on this about site access. So from a chapter 61A perspective, if we wanted to get back out on site, we would need to get permission from the owners specifically for chapter 61A. But I think we've already done all of this. I mean, I'm comfortable with it. It's 16 out of 20 acres seems to be left for agriculture, which is great for a right to farm community. But why don't I stop there, Mary? What are your thoughts?
No, I'm good. No, I
Okay.
remember the site, so I've been there. No, any comments?
TJ, any questions on this one?
All good.
Okay, Woody, any questions?
No, I'm good. I think it's good.
Okay, Mick, any questions?
No, I remember the conversation. Seems pretty like a good move, so I'm good.
Okay, thank you, Mick. Diane, any questions?
Nope.
Frank, how about yourself?
No, I have no questions. I'm not familiar with this one.
Okay. So what we need to do, team, is to generate a communication from the board to the select board. So I will entertain a motion to authorize the chair to send a communication to the select board indicating that the proposed statement of use prioritizes ecological preservation for majority of the 20-acre area, and that is the pleasure of the select board to proceed as it sees fit on this matter. So that would be the flavor of the communication I would like to send, but it requires a motion and a second and then a vote for me to be authorized to do that.
So moved.
Okay,
Second.
Woody,
Second,
okay, Diane is a second. Okay, roll call, all in favor, Mary,
Yes,
TJ,
right?
Woody,
Yes.
Nick,
All right,
Diane,
Yes.
Frank,
Yes.
and Bob Connors votes yes. All right, general project discussion, Lock and Rome Dam removal. There was a communication that was in the Dropbox from Gomez and Sullivan. And that is the update on this. Mason, we were talking about trying to coordinate a site visit. Where does that stand with the applicant?
Yeah, I had reached out to Jill at Gomez and Sullivan. I haven't heard back from her yet. I was gonna try and collect some dates that might work best for her. But maybe if we wanna do it kind of backwards, if you guys wanna propose some dates that would work, I can reach out to the dam removal team to see when they'd be available.
Well, we have a site visit coming up on 12/12, and maybe if we have the time that day, it's what's going to probably go from an hour, probably go to about 2.5, 3 hours for 12/12. But just throwing that out there. Thoughts, Mary? What are your thoughts on this?
I can be available, I can be flexible, so let me
Okay.
know what works.
Okay, does it make sense, team, to try to piggyback these on the same date as the governors?
Yes.
All right, so why don't we do this? Why don't we tentatively consider a 12/12 site visit for the lock and dam removal? If we're meeting at 8 o'clock at Governor's, why don't we talk about a 9:15 or a 9:30 site visit? Let's do 9:15 site visit at Lock and Dam. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
I think the big thing there, Mason, is we have some flexibility in the time. It really couldn't be any earlier than 9:15.
Mhm.
But it could be a little bit later, but just knowing everyone's busy schedule, it couldn't really be beyond 9:30, a quarter of 10.
Okay, sounds
do
good.
that. And if you could coordinate who will be there and then where we're going to meet, that'd be great.
Yep, will do.
Okay, staff reports and updates. Mason, anything else to mention? Any other
Nope.
updates?
That's all.
Okay, well, this is that time of the meeting where we all get final comments. Mary, any words of wisdom you want to share with us? Any
No wise words, no.
family recipes on cooking turkeys or anything like that? Or
Yeah.
TJ, any final comments?
No, just that I'm away on the 12th, so I won't be at either one of those site
Okay.
visits, but no words of wisdom here.
Okay. Woody, how about yourself?
No, I'm good for today, Bob. Thank you.
Okay, thank you, Woody. Mick, any comments?
no, sir, I am good.
Diane, any comments before we?
Not tonight.
Okay, I have no comments and I will entertain a motion to adjourn.
So moved.
So moved. Second.
Okay, Diane is a second. Okay, roll call. All in favor, Mary,
Yes.
TJ, Woody,
Aye.
Mick,
Aye.
Diane,
Yeah.
Frank, and Bob
Yes.
Connors vote yes. Meeting is officially adjourned at 6:36.